Carlos, we talk about the positivity of the fourth industrial revolution. The previous piece of research Sally was responsible for a year ago at this meeting, we talked about the fact that 150 million jobs, roughly, would be created, and slightly more than half would be displaced. So on the whole, it's a positive message, but of course, it's not that simple. And those jobs, the skills to fulfill those roles that will be created have to be given and applied to people. You're at the front line, you're a technology company working in a competitive talent market. What's the reality?
So we have to understand that we are entering into an era where our human development, which we as a human, we learn things in a sequential way, so it takes a while between the time we start to understand something and the time we master that. And especially in the fourth industrial revolution, we are in competition with machines that they are evolving in an exponential way. So machines and technologies are getting exponentially improved every second, every day. If you hear any panel during those days, they are talking about how you combine AI with cybersecurity, or cybersecurity with IoT, or IoT with machine learning. And this is going to be an acceleration process, and it's going to be very difficult to cope. So I think the first thing we have to understand that we will not be anymore in a situation where we're going to be able as a human to cope with the acceleration that is happening in technology. And that has consequences. It has consequences for skills, for jobs, for politicians, for CEOs, for anyone that they need to inspire and organize and structure. So the definition of skills needs to be redefined in the fourth industrial revolution. And what we do as a CEO of a company or as a person helping institutions, UN agencies, and others to cope with that challenge is that by redefining skills, one of the things we need to do is break down the skill into what we call an activity or a task, because we just cannot learn everything at once. It is a situation in the United States, for instance, we are missing something like 500,000 jobs, technology jobs, but even when the companies start to define the job itself, they have a difficulty to define the job, because the job is not anymore aligned with what is being studied in universities. You know, universities' degrees have nothing to do anymore in common with the requirements of a company working in leading-edge technology. So if we break a skill into tasks, then as a human, we might be good in one task. We might call itself lawyer or architect or engineer, but at the end of the day, we have talents that they are very intrinsically related to your human condition. If we associate those talents with the power of those technologies, then they are now around us, we can make a breakthrough. So this is happening. It's happening by combining the best talent in medicine with the new robotics for medicine. It's happening on cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, which is where I come from, is a very complex process, because cybersecurity is getting more and more sophisticated. The dark side of cybersecurity is as organized or even better organized than the defense side. So how we fight with that? The only way we fight with that is by sharing data, by being able to take data out of silos, which is what is happening now. If we, as a company, we know that somebody had a cybersecurity attack and defend that attack in a proper way, we would like immediately, real time, to transfer that skill to anybody else in the market that is defending the same problem, but this is not happening now. So this, I will call it laser view rather than a rainbow view in how skills should develop in the future, is what we need to face the new challenge of the fourth industrial revolution.
So, Carlos, it sounds like you're not afraid of talent supply drying up because of the measures you've put in place.
No, I think it's a huge opportunity, to be honest. I think the only problem we are facing is that before a nation becomes a fourth industrial revolution nation, it requires moving what it is now a total analog sector into a digital sector. And the jobs in the analog sectors are totally different from the jobs in the digital sector. And by the way, even the people working in the digital sector should not be supervised by bosses than they are from the analog sector, because it will create a tremendous inefficiency. So how can you run companies in the fourth industrial revolution with the right skill sets? You have to define them very well. And I think one of the exercises is define what are the skill sets in the fourth industrial revolution, which are totally different from what it was in the third industrial revolution.
Very important. Carlos, I'm just curious, and take it from the other side, you're a private sector leader. Are you satisfied with the relationship you have with the government in Geneva and other countries where you're active?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think this is a great question because one of the things happening in order to make sure that those skills are going to stay at national level and we're going to be able to monetize those new skills is that the country itself needs to become a platform. A country is not the same country in the fourth industrial revolution than it was before the fourth industrial revolution. Platforms are fighting against platform. You know, my company is selling microchips to Daimler, and Daimler is building a platform against social media platforms because they want themselves in the future to be the one that they have all the data generated by their connected cars. So there's going to be a war of platforms. I mean, we are from a decentralized internet moving into a platform internet. And the platform internet is a huge opportunity for governments. For instance, in Geneva, in the last 2 years, we launched the Blockchain Center of Excellence in Geneva. Geneva is becoming one major blockchain city. Facebook, as a consequence, moved Libra, and Libra is going to be operating from Geneva. So you see a movement of companies, and they are saying, okay, if the city or the government is building the platform effect, rather of operating that service from my headquarters, I will do it from the country. And this is a guarantee that the skills stays in the country as well. Because let's be very frank about it. We don't need to know everything about everything. The skills, when we talk about skills, we always think to be a PhD on artificial intelligence. We don't need. We are more, and I am more in your line of reinforcing jobs and they are more human jobs, because those are going to be the ones that they are going to be surviving, the jobs that AI will not be able to do. Jobs that they are maybe more related to be empathetic with others, to help others, to have human relations. Those are the jobs of the future. I mean, I have my daughter is studying in the hotel school in Lausanne, and she's telling me hospitality is going to be a massive job for the future. Why? Because artificial intelligence will never be able to replace the human relations between humans. So I think if we focus on that and humans maintain its uniqueness, and that will be a way, by the way, to defend against what is coming, which is singularity and all these movements towards replacing humans. And humans can connect to platforms, and those platforms are national platforms, so I maintain the ownership of the IP, I maintain the ownership of the data, and I let those countries to become the fourth industrial revolution countries. Then we will have a very easy way to maximize skills. Because skill at the end of the day is having, like we had it when Google arrived. You remember the day that we just magically, we put a question and we got an answer. Before that, I remember I was in the UN, you have to do it through IP Sharp or CompuServe, and that cost $20, $30 per search, which was totally unaffordable. So we are in the same phase now where rather than making a search into Google, we're going to make a connection to our national platform. And the country is going to be smart enough, and we're going to have the right investment done in the country, so the IP, the knowledge, the data, and the value-added creation stays